Jolan Tru Centurions, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Rear Admiral Tarek of the Dreadnought RS Fendere, as we get into our campaign against the Hydran Star Kingdom, and we have a fairly solid foothold. We have a planet and 2 stations, and while the Hydrans are trying to hook around us to cut us off, I don't think their efforts will succeed. We do have a couple of targets here that we want to go after, so with that out of the way, let us set out into space and continue to siege the planet of 09, already down to an Empire defense of 25. I think today we're going to begin with a planetary assault. We're going to jump right on into the full-on firepower action and see just how much pain and damage we can dish out. Hopefully, we won't get annihilated, but you never know. There is a dreadnought off in the distance. According to fleet scans, it is a Paladin heavy dreadnought, so something we need to be somewhat wary of. We are, of course, going to overload our new plasma torpedoes and increase the speed of the ship. Slower than our other old Condor, but we have an additional extra plasma torpedo, so it does make a little bit of sense. Still managing to get above the speed of 15, which is not terrible at all. We're immediately going to vector away from him so I can build some time into this. We've noted that we are able to not charge our plasma torpedoes fast enough to be able to intercept incoming fire. So we're going to slip on away, and then we're going to launch a probe off in his direction to see exactly what he is working with today. So according to this, the probe, he is out there all on his lonesome, which is extra special good, because it means we can basically abuse him as best as we possibly can. So as long as he's alone, let's go check out the planet. The planet is a PL6, undefended in every way. Okay, it has 8 phaser 3s, but who cares about phaser 3s when you don't get that close? Let's increase the speed of time, and I think I kind of want to bait him into a wild weasel. That might be the way to go today, because he's only a single target, and I may not need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up and probably fire at a range of about 20 and see if that'll actually have the effect on him. He did manage to nail us with one of his weapon systems, and that did go to one of our aft shields. Okay, so we shall fire the plasma torpedo in 3, 2, 1, and fire. So an R-type plasma torpedo immediately break off from that. Managed to take a couple of phaser shots on the nose, but that's okay. And a couple of shots all around on the shield, but we're doing just fine. Is he going to react to this is the question. And the answer to that question is an absolute resounding yes. Not only that, but he fired at it. And that's the biggest thing about that right there, because that will no longer be a Gatling phaser that is capable of defending him against what we're about to bring him. Fire these. Shoot. Should have gone to cloak. Oh wow, the shield actually held. That is incredibly surprising to me. Okay, we're going to slow down to a crawl, and the reason why I'm going to do this is I want to buff up the forward shield as much as I can. I need to wait for him to actually accelerate fast enough to do anything, so I just need to get him up to a speed where I don't have to worry about things. Drop into cloak, increase the speed to... Ow, he cut right through the forward shield just in time. Unfortunately, when the cloak was sealing away most of our power, we have, however, managed to penetrate most of his armor. So he will start taking damage once we start getting things underway. Plasma torpedoes down to normal mode since we don't need to envelop anymore. All of his shields are already exposed. And if he can keep hitting me with these hellbores, it's going to be quite painful. So we're just going to slip on him. He is a heavy dreadnought compared to our light dreadnought. The Romulan optimized Condor is an amazing piece of equipment. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore this ship. But the thing is, at the end of the day, well, Paladin heavy drops dreadnoughts in a straight-up duel. A little bit outgunning of us, especially since half our weapons can only shoot backwards. Hellbore gave us another hit. Unfortunate. Do I have enough power to accelerate even more? I don't. We're really kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel with power on this one. He's doing a speed of 11.4. I'm doing a speed of 7.0. But he's going to be able to turn with me, and I don't want that. We did knock out 2 of his fusion cannons, so that's quite nice. I'm really tempted to just let him slip on by around me. Okay, keep firing, keep wasting your time. Down to a speed of 8, it looks like, which is good. But I do need to get away from these gosh darn hellbores, because they are keeping my forward shield down, and I don't like that at all. Oh, there's not much I can do here. Oh, wow, he actually got through it through our cloak. That's not good. I gotta get some distance from this guy. We gotta figure out a way to get away from him. I don't need any power regeneration. I can fix a phaser 3, though. And his fighters are out again. Stop. All stop. Let him slip out in front of me. And repair the engines. So the engines are not actually damaged at the moment, but if I can get a forward shield at a sufficient strength to be able to handle this, so I can get out away from him. But those shots are going right into the stern because he's got the hellbore there. Plasma torpedoes are almost ready for another round of shooting, but I can't shoot him from this range. This is far too close for a plasma torpedo. And the moment I decloak, those fighters are going to be right on top of me, which is obviously less than ideal. Give me more speed, give me more power. How much do I have on power? I have a lot. Let's use it. I need a little bit more speed in here. Get that R-type ready to go. Phasers firing from the fighters, so at least they're wasting their time. That's always useful. That's the big one. We want to avoid that. Oh, good. He managed to react in the way I was hoping he would. You didn't hit me with that, did you? Alright, aft shield is back in place, although a single hellbore will knock it right on down. Any good hits will probably knock it right on down, because it is pretty much at 0. Alright, so it looks like we've slipped out from underneath our mine. Excellent. Although I am still very worried about these fighters. I need to get another good, well-executed plasma torpedo strike on this guy. The problem is he still has his shuttle bay, so that will probably result in him just dropping a pseudo for it. So I need to come up with a solution, and the solution is thus. Are you going to accelerate now that I've decloaked? Yes, you will. You have realized that there is an opportunity here. More. And back on the cloak, please. Turn. Get that weak bow away from him. And he reacted exactly as I had hoped. Lovely. So now that he has stopped once again, although we need to take some time to recharge our pseudoplasma torpedoes, and his little pseudo-frigates are doing, or his little fighters are basically worthless in this round. I will now decloak. We will utilize our point defense phasers, and also I'm going to get a fairly decently executed plasma torpedo attack on him. So phasers going out, blasting, almost, did manage to take out one of his fighter groups. That will be very helpful. Get him up to a certain speed, and then we can actually do something about this. Slow down. Now. And cloak. And the plasma torpedoes hook right back on in. He managed to hit us again, but we hit him harder. And that's going to be the key here. This is not going to be a good and easy fight. This is going to be a straight-up slogging match. I want to kill these fighters so I can openly launch my pseudo-frigates, because the fighters will probably butcher my pseudo-frigates quite heavily. They're very good at it. Okay, I need more speed. How much speed do I got? I got a little bit more. Let's use it. Let's use as much as we can. Drop another mine. Maybe that'll ward him off. He, after all, doesn't have any shields, so if he takes this mine, it's going to be flat-out painful for him. Or if he's clever, he can box me with it. And I think he's going to box me. Okay, I got to turn to bring this port aft shield around, so I can do that. Now, he did get hit, but I also got hit, but then he didn't capitalize on it. So we're in a fairly okay position. I want to take these fighters out, so if I can get some major distance between me and him and decloak to kill the fighters, that would be excellent. All of my phasers are charged, ready to rock, so all I need to do is drop the cloak as soon as they shoot, and maybe I can get away with killing them before the Hellbores can get in there. Okay, they've shot. We'll decloak. All phasers. Get ready to kill. Okay, they're out. Now that means that we can deploy our pseudo-frigates. So we'll get them all out, and we'll drop back on the cloak. So now that the pseudo-frigates are deployed, and aggressive little ships that they are, oh, I love them so much. So they can now zip on forward and hopefully be incredibly dangerous to the Paladin Heavy Dreadnought. I've set them to harass, which means they'll stay outside of the range of his very powerful close-in Gatling phasers. Oh, and he reacted to that. Interesting. Okay, so the first two plasma torpedoes got nothing done, but they were all from the same one. So actually, I could call them home, but there's no point, because they will move back to engage. So they're drifting out to harassment ranges. Maybe I should tell them to go on in. In fact, yeah, at this point, let's order them to go in. That way they can be aggressive and hit with a decent enough damage to actually cause some major pain. Because right now they're firing their plasma torpedoes from ranges where they're only doing like 5 damage, which is obviously not ideal. Drop out a cloak, because we're about to hit them as well. We're going to add our F-type plasma torpedoes as well to the mix, because our heavier plasma torpedoes are not yet ready. But death by 1,000 cuts is what we're about to pull off. And you'll notice that our strikes are capable of cloaking, which is lovely. The fact that they can just drift away just like we can is a very powerful addition. It's one of the reasons why I prefer the strikes over the Centurions. Because Centurions are great, don't get me wrong. They have 5 plasma torpedoes, and they're more powerful in this than they are in the original game, Starfleet Battles, which was done on tabletop. Because, you know, they can actually recharge their plasma torpedoes. But at the end of the day, strikes are just so much tougher. Because of the cloaking device, because they have better shields, because they have multiple more systems. They're flat out the better pseudo-frigate in all other regards aside from pure plasma torpedo bombardment. And once you take that into account, they are devastating. I'm quite happy to have them with us. Let's pick up the speed a little bit. So we were able to take on a heavy dreadnought. Took a little bit more damage than I otherwise wanted to. That initial barrage really did kind of catch me off guard. Wasn't expecting to fully get through. And we should have gone under cloak first on the fighters and then popped out to shoot. There goes our nuclear space mine. And if we had done that, we probably could have gotten out of the fight with a lot less damage. Also, if we had concentrated our phaser fire a little bit better on one group at a time so that we didn't have to worry about both groups on the second pass through. Those things would have improved our performance rather significantly, and we'll take those moving forward just to make sure that we can annihilate anything that comes for us. Okay, let's park up here. And just outside the range. Fire the plasma torpedoes. And we are also phaser range, so we may as well just shoot everything that we've got. How many people are left? We have 38, they have 15. So we killed 5. But we will knock down the defenses of the planet and take it out in its entirety before they can do anything about it. Also knocking out all their support systems. Oh yeah, I forgot another. It's a Hydra planet. Each one's got Gatling phasers instead of the 2 phaser 3s, which gives them 16 phaser 3 shots in essence, which is really powerful and really dangerous. That's actually the same number of phaser Gs that Dreadnought had, although I believe they can shoot in all directions. So I got him down to 5 without... Oh yeah, because we're not using enveloping plasma torpedoes. That would probably be it. That'll help out our firepower rather significantly, although there's only 2 more targets that we can actually knock out before we can send in the Marines for maximum effectiveness. There we go. And that'll be another successful invasion on the planet. We do have a starbase right nearby, so we're just going to basically pop off over there, get some repairs, and head right back on in, and we will continue to barrage and assault these planets until hopefully we can take them. Now, part of me is somewhat tempted to start trying to buy a couple of more smaller support ships, but I'm not sure that would give us any major advantage, just because the AI can be a little bit dumb, and that would also cause us to start facing even more enemies. And well, technically we would start to win in those fights, we would take a ton of damage, and I don't want to take damage at this moment. After all, we only took 58 plus 29 is not terrible damage. And a couple of things, spent some spare parts to keep everything online. A single mine, because the nuclear space mine is always free and you get one every single time, which is hilariously good. And some Marines. Pop back over here. It's going to be a holding action. The holding action doesn't actually have any major effect on the planet, I don't think, unless you wipe everybody out, which we may or may not do. We are being escorted by a K-10, so one of our larger battleships. This is the heavy battleship for us, so basically a Klingon B-10, except we kitted out with a billion plasma torpedoes, and a completely unarmored freighter facing 2 Monarch-class battleship carriers. Yeah, no. Well, maybe. No, it's going to be incredibly dangerous. Alright, I'm going to send my plasma torpedoes to defensive mode. I think we're going to go full in on this. Defensive. And you can go defensive. And you can go defensive. The plasma Fs do not go defensive. And the reason is because defensive is also known as shotgun torpedo mode. And what it does is it fires a single plasma F torpedo for every target that it sees. And depending on the size of the launcher will determine how many of them. I believe the R-type plasma torpedo launches 4 or 5. I can double check on the book later on, but it's a fairly significant number. So if we're fighting a whole bunch of Monarch-class battleship carriers, if I just bombard them with a ton of these, hopefully I can wipe out a couple of fighter groups before they can actually get to me. I don't really think that'll work. I think we're only going to weaken them pretty considerably, because really for a shotgun torpedo barrage to really be super effective, you need to have a lot of people to do it with you. And we don't, because the AI does not understand how to use the shotgun torpedo barrage unless you explicitly order them to on the fleet screen with your own fleet. Alright, let's get on in here. We're going to go target the fighters. We do need to pick up the pace a little bit in order to keep up, give me more power. Otherwise, he's going to get absolutely gutted. He's going to get gutted in the worst possible way. Oh, looks like we already took out one of their fighters. Lovely. Oh, who's coming for me now? You're vectoring on me. That's uncomfortable. Alright. I'm not actually seeing your fighter group. Is it already dead? I think it might already be dead. Alright, let's get ready for a nuclear spaceman. We're going to dump the nuclear spaceman right here. Hi, where's your fighter group? There they are. Plasmas. There go the shotguns. That's why we brought them. So we can do exactly this. And I need to get the starboard side plasma torpedoes on this as well, just to hurt even more. We are taking a ton of damage from this. You know what? I'm out of here. I've caused some damage. I've caused some pain. But I don't need to risk my entire life in order to pull this off. Drop it in the mine. And we're going to head for the listening post. If I do this, this will also keep the battleship alive, which is somewhat important. But yeah, they're already through our armor. Looks like, yeah, the D-type plasma torpedoes are handling the fighters quite nicely. In fact, he could probably get in there and be incredibly dangerous. Switch plasma torpedoes to enveloping mode. Is it free to switch to enveloping? It was free to switch to enveloping. Alright, I need to see who's got what at the moment. Because it looks like the fighter groups are all dead. Nah, you just took a major penetrating hit. And I don't want to risk my ship. No, if I don't start running now, I'm never going to get away from these guys. So we're going to just pick up the pace, and we'll get on out of here. Unless the K-10 manages to destroy this Monarch-class battleship carrier in this next couple of rounds, we're out of here. Also because we're taking hits already. We are reading the data. The information is ours. You have failed to stop us. Alright, data transfer complete. That'll be a mission complete. So now we can immediately head off to something else. And again, more repairs. I don't know why it's sending me against Monarch-class battleship carriers. A rock is not on that level. I mean, I might be able to handle it, but rocks are not there. They are not that powerful. They're good, but they're not that powerful. Repair and repair. Properly handled rock could probably take it on. Getting fully slotted in a couple more episodes will probably be able to do it. Also, we'll be a little bit more aggressive with our pseudo-frigates. Oh, it's a diplomatic delivery that we must go on. How unfortunate. But once we get a little bit more comfortable in the rock, we should be able to take on things that are a little bit heavier than what we are now. Enemy sensors indicate a dreadnought. It is a Paladin Heavy. And we could, of course, skip fighting the Paladin Heavy and just immediately go to the end. And I'm somewhat tempted to do that if I'm completely honest. Maximize the forward shield with all our additional power. How much power can I steal from this? There we go. Lovely. And maximize speed of time as we'll just surge on forward, get everything rocking and rolling. There's no sense in just avoiding him, although unless we wanted to drag it into the asteroid thicket, which is not terrible, just doesn't work super heavily in our favor unless we can get away from him, which is always our biggest problem, is getting away from the enemy. So we're going to work on a couple of strategies to support that. Hit a range of around 30, and there goes his fighters. Lovely. And I will deploy a single R-type pseudo-torpedo at a range of about now. So there goes that. We'll immediately turn off the port, get ready for our cloak. I could immediately go into cloak right now, but I do want to bait out a little bit more fire. And crash stop. There he goes. Lovely. So we're going to build distance. That's the point of this maneuver. So we're trying to refine this strategy a little bit, because I know it works. We had this strategy well refined previously. We just got to get ourselves tuned back into it, which is a lot of this rock. Okay, duck into cloak, slip underneath the fighters. So they will fire their barrages, and then we will decloak, fire, and pull away. And decloak. Plasma torpedo select. He's about to hit the speed. We'll wait till a range of 10 because he's trying to accelerate towards us. Phasers have already engaged. Fire plasma torpedoes a little bit beyond maximum range, but that'll be fine. I'm going to turn back to port, see if I can't kill this fighter group. This may not work out great. Okay, fighter group destroyed. And that's good hits on in. Alright, so he's suffering, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to switch my shield reinforcement to aft, and we're going to slip on away. I'm also going to drop a nuclear space mine for us to turn around behind. Fighters coming back towards us. I don't have anything to work with them at the moment. It's going to suck, so I'm going to slip under cloak, just to make sure they can't do anything to me, which they cannot. There they go. Alright, now that that's taken care of, now we can decloak and now we can get away. So he's got to turn away from the nuclear space mine. He doesn't have much of a choice. No, target him. Target the fighters. That was a mistake. If they pass in front of me, I can kill them. Come on, get in front of me. Get in front of me. I have 2 more phasers. That's all I've got, and I'm not going to be able to kill him. But I do want to try. Okay, got a little more damage on them. They are turning for home. Good. Alright, so we are sprinting away. He is sprinting towards us faster. Drop another mine. We're going to build some, build a nice little wall of mines. I just want to keep him away from me for a little while. For the next 3 turns, preferably, so I can come back in with another torpedo barrage. So the goal is to try and do this without losing the aft shield. We're creating mini goals for ourselves, and if he plows that mine, that's going to go right through that forward shield. It's not going to hold. Yep, there goes another mine. I mean, if he wants to eat him, I'm going to let him. Aft shield getting quite weak, mainly because those Hellbores, they are a very effective weapon system, and they're able to cut through my shield reinforcement pretty well. Especially once I turn in to actually go after him. He is now going to avoid the mine. He's gone into full-on mine avoidance, which is lovely. So we're going to prepare to go right on into him now. So we're going to fire everything that we've got left as a pseudo-torpedo to basically pin him down, get him to stop, and make him vulnerable again. Then we're going to go wide, go back in, fire plasma torpedoes, and that'll be the dance. Although if he's giving me time, which is not horrific, because that does give me an opportunity to reinforce my aft shield even better. So when he finally comes up with the Hellbores. Alright, the distance should be good, but I want to make sure I've got everything on. So get ready for the pseudo-torpedoes. Bring on the starboard side ones are up. There we go. Fire into him and immediately begin our turn away. We don't want to close the range too much yet. We want to widen it a little bit more because it's a little bit tight for me. And there's his crash stop. Lovely. He's going to fire a final shot as a parting gift to us. And we're immediately going to turn directly away. Well, not directly, but mostly away. Take the shield damage as best as we can. I think we come back around. I think we did like a full-on donut, and that was sort of like our mental calculation, was if we did an entire 360-degree turn, that was the point where it was okay to decloak and get back in. So this also is stretching at his fighters, which is good, because we got to duck underneath for the fighters. I'm going to start to slow down. Okay, come on, fighters. Get on top of me and shoot me. Shoot me now. I dare you. I double dog dare you. He's got to get on top of me before they're going to do it, but... And wait for it. Wait for the fighters. That's the fighters. Decloak. Fire the plasma. Fire the plasma. Get it off my boat. I'm going to fully invest on killing these fighters as well. Got 2 more phasers. That's a good hit. Because those were enveloping plasma torpedoes as well. Got his fighters. Duck on a cloak. He's dropping to a very low speed. Still has a Hellbore, so I want to be under cloak for that Hellbore. It'll still be fairly accurate, but we are actually outrunning him. And we're not even doing our maximum cloaked speed while enveloping. Oh, that's very painful for you, sir. And he doesn't have a shuttle bay anymore, so he's dead. So he hasn't realized it yet, but he's dead. I'm going to increase the speed of time. And I'm going to slow boat it away. I'm actually going to dump a mine, get him to turn away. Because I'm perfectly content to just drift on away from him. If he runs through that mine, he may actually kill himself. Like, that is not a good strategy, sir. I think he's realizing that. I think he's realizing that, hey, wait a sec. Wait, no, maybe. Does he want to do it? He's got to do it. Oh, no, he's traveling too slowly for the mine. I forgot. Whoops. Doing a speed of 2, he can't actually be touched by the mine. Alright, let's come back around. Our plasma torpedoes are ready. It's time for us to murder this paladin. He doesn't stand a chance. He is turning away, which is probably his best defensive move at the moment. Nuclear space mine timed out. Alright, hi, buddy. Bye-bye, buddy. Got him. Alrighty, so that's great. Let's just increase the speed of the ship. We're going to drop off a diplomat, and we'll be out of here. So a good job all around. So the Rock, very capable of doing an excellent job once you sort of dial in the tactics. And we're dialing them in closer and closer. So we're getting back under the idea of how to use our pseudo-torpedoes in the most effective way to force dreadnoughts and their fighters to separate from each other. And that's really one of the biggest things. Once you can get Hydra and dreadnoughts separated from their fighters and neutralize them, they become a lot more manageable. But as long as they have that fighter squadron, they are very dangerous, because those fighters, if you're not in cloak, are just devastatingly powerful. So one of the things about the Klingon versus Federation campaign that's going to be very interesting is just how to handle those fighters. Because the Klingons do not have a cloaking device on most of their ships, so they will be fully vulnerable to them. But that's going to be a problem for a couple of months away at this point, because there's still the ISC campaign to get through before we do our grand finale campaign with the Klingons versus the Federation. 280 prestige is a reward for a job well done. And yeah, Empire defense of the planet is down to 15, so 4 more battles should see another planet fall under Romulan control, and then we can clean up the north, and that will start giving us a bit of a surround going on here. Hopefully we can even cut the Klingons out of being able to get any territory. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see a notification every time I post one of these videos. Press the little bell icon that becomes, and I will see you all in the next episode.